Jennifer is seen running around on a rainy, thundery night, unable to get her car started or connect to any call. She hides in one of the cubicles in a public washroom and buys herself some time to run from a creepy guy following her with a knife. Coming outside, she breaks the window of her car to get away, but her car is connected to a white pickup truck, as if it was towing it. Unable to get it to move, she tries to run, but ends up getting in a brutal car accident. Thankfully, the people from the car call an ambulance and get her to the hospital. With excessive internal and external breathing, she gets vague memories of her marriage and her lover, promising to be with her forever as she fades to unconsciousness while being taken to the operation theater. As she is in critical surgery, Russell Williams, her husband, comes rushing into the hospital regarding a call about his wife's accident. He rushes to the OT in worry, not understanding he isn't allowed there, and then waits outside till any update is received. Once the surgery is over, Russell is told that she is still unconscious and under observation. He goes to her, telling the unconscious girl he is here now and he won't leave her ever. Detective Frank is buying a giant stuffed toy for her daughter, making a surrounding parent find it sweet. He gets a call about this accident, informing the other person that he will be there. Before leaving, he buys another toy. Detective Frank visits the hospital about the case and interrogates Russell. Russell tells him she went to get groceries, but he got worried when she didn't write after an hour. He doesn't know anything other than that. Frank initially clearly expresses that Russell lives with her, and it might be an unhappy marriage that made him do that. But Russell tells him they just got married, so they are pretty happy. Russell then asks about Jennifer's car, which is still missing, and Russell also knows nothing about it, telling him she took it with her. Frank notes these details, offers his sympathies, and requests to talk to Jennifer when she wakes up. Detective Frank seems to have his own unfortunate story, as his 10-year-old daughter was abducted and never found when her very father is a detective. It was her birthday, and just like other years, he was setting the gifts in the room for her daughter and crying in her memory. After some time, Russell is told that Jennifer is awake, but she has lost all her recent memories due to the injury in her head, which means she doesn't remember her husband and her marriage. As Russell goes inside the room, Jennifer cannot remember him and flinches as he comes close to her. He apologizes for startling her and sits on the side. He tells her they recently got married and moved in together. Jennifer eventually calms down a little as he sweetly introduces himself, promising they will work together to help her regain her memory. Frank interviews the driver who hit Jennifer. The driver feels tense since he was speeding, but it was a genuine accident. Frank isn't concerned about that, but wants to know if there was a car at the site of the accident. The person remembers seeing a white pickup pulling a car with a cable, but it was gone by the time the ambulance came. Frank decides to dig into the case even though his precinct thinks he takes everything seriously just because of that trauma. Russell shows Jennifer a lot of pictures of their dates, parties, and other events, and shares funny stories about their interactions with her. Jennifer seems to be having fun getting to know all this stuff, but then she asks him if her parents were informed, making Russell go silent and sullen. He tells her that her parents died a couple of years ago in a fire. This information disturbs Jennifer, making her want some alone time. Later on, a bulky bearded guy tries to visit Jennifer when he is told only family can meet her. The receptionist is cautious around the person, who then hands the bouquet to be given to Jennifer and leaves. This is witnessed by Russell silently. Russell and the hospital help out Jennifer with her physical and mental therapy to improve her health. She even learns how to operate the wheelchair on her own. After she is capable of discharge, Nurse Masters consoles her to not overdo her therapy and give herself time to recover. She also gives her a crane to walk around for a couple of minutes every day since she is in a wheelchair now. As she sits in the car with Russell, she gets a flashback of the night of the accident, making her feel unsettled. Russell consoles her that she will eventually get better. He takes her to their house in the mountains, which was passed down to him over the years. The two of them shifted here after marriage. As Russell shows her around, she still gets some flashbacks of someone being stabbed around a fireplace, but she doesn't share them with Russell. After showing her around, he tells her he will prepare the guest bedroom on the ground floor for her, but Jennifer wants to get back to her old routine so she can settle faster. She gets up planning to walk the set of stairs, but Russell picks her up, carrying her to the bedroom. Later, she is roaming around when Russell gets a call from Frank, who still couldn't find the car, and then mentions the truck. He then requests for Russell to bring Jennifer in for some questions the next day. Russell doesn't want that, but agrees after Frank insists on the request. Upstairs, Jennifer seems to be interested in the conversation, but can only hear chunks of it from a distance. During the dinner at night, she asks about the discussion of 11 a.m. the next day, but Russell doesn't give her the details. She then mentions taking off from her job, to which Russell tells her she quit her job because they wanted to start a family, which is why they moved here as well. Jennifer finds it weird that she has no family and no job, so asks about friends. Russell chuckles that she has plenty of friends, and Nancy and her husband plan on visiting her after they get back from Hawaii. She tells him she will contact them too, and maybe she can recall some things from her memory. Russell tells her it is a great idea, but the two realize that her phone was never found after the accident. He assured her that he will bring it the next time he goes out. Bro seems to be acting suspicious about a lot of details, but it seems like he holds the plot in his hand. Later at night, Russell travels to the bearded stranger's house and hits him with a metal object, telling him to stay away from his wife, showing his psychotic colors openly. The car alarms get triggered, making Russell drag the man behind the bushes and choke him to death. He doesn't look bothered or tense as he carries the dead body to his car to handle it. The situation seems like it isn't his first time dealing with a dead body. Jennifer wakes up at night hearing noise from outside. She calls out for Russell but receives no response. Seeing out the window, she notices someone digging something in their backyard, but her calls to Russell are unheard. She soon understands why. Because of a little light and turn, she realizes it is Russell out digging in the backyard late at night for some reason. The next day, Jennifer keeps looking outside as Russell prepares her breakfast. Even with memory loss, this woman is smart enough to not confront Russell yet for his suspicious behavior. Frank tries calling Russell but realizes he has been stood up by Russell. Asking his subordinate Charlie to run a trace on the phone number, he goes to the hospital to fetch his address. Jennifer is looking at her photo album to reminisce some memories when the wedding pictures come across her. She remembers vague details about her wedding now, but looking around startles her. In one of the photos with Russell, she sees half of his back's reflection and notices that the reflection has black hair while Russell has brown. This weirds her out and she decides to look around the house. It takes a great deal of energy and endurance for her to limp down the stairs with her crane, but she starts noticing that all the pictures look very much photoshopped in terms of Russell's face. She tries to open his laptop, but is unable to get the password right. Russell walks in and she succeeds in closing the laptop and looking around on the bookshelf to make the excuse that she is exploring. Russell shows his pride that Jennifer managed to get down the stairs on her own and gifts her the new phone. However, there are still no signals in the phone in this place. Too bad for Frank, as he gets to know the address was wrong too when he reaches the place and sees an old couple living there for years. Charlie tells him the phone number seems to be a burner kind too, since it is untraceable. At night, Russell tries to get close to Jennifer, but she gets a traumatic flashback of her abductor, grabbing her, making her feel uncomfortable. Russell gets mad that she is still scared of him touching her when he waits so long for her. Talk about being pathetic and egotistical. Jennifer feels scared and hurt and ignores him, so he leaves the room, but it is only so he can go down and creepily watch Jennifer sleep through a camera in his room. Frank calls Nurse Masters to ask how they confirmed Russell was Jennifer's husband. He gave a few details along with identifying a tattoo on her back. Frank gets Nurse Masters to send him the picture of the tattoo as well as the security footage of the parking lot that night, if ever there was a white pickup truck around it. The next day, Russell apologizes to Jennifer, while Frank, on the other hand, visits a tattoo parlor to get to know what the sign means. Lucky for him, the symbol of the letter A is a common symbol used to denote the middle name, Allen. Frank searches for the name Jennifer Allen and finds her address. Going to that house, the mail has been at the door for a long time, and the door is ajar. The house is dark, but things seem to be placed as if somebody randomly disappeared. However, nobody disappears. 2 rotten corpses are lying on the bed, which happens to be Jennifer's late parents, murdered but not noticed. Jennifer has a nightmare of hiding in the closet from someone. She wakes up with a jolt and finds Russell in the shower, keeping him busy in conversation about him getting groceries so she can prepare a romantic dinner for him. She takes out his wallet from his jacket and hides it under covers. Once Russell leaves, he shockingly locks the room door, not even bothering to care that he might owe her an explanation for that. She looks into his wallet and doesn't find his ID. However, she does find her ID in the wallet with the name Jennifer Allen. Knowing this is her only chance, she opens the lock with the evergreen bobby pin and rushes down. To her luck, her real name is indeed Russell's laptop password. Inside, she finds folders with pictures, one of which has unedited pictures of her and the actual Russell, while this fake Russell stands somewhere in the background. Simultaneously, we see Frank reaching where Jennifer previously worked and interviewing the boss. He knows Russell and Jennifer and shows Frank the photos, similar to what Jennifer is seeing on the laptop. Frank is now sure that this fake Russell, whose name is Ryan Garrity, is the culprit behind everything weird happening around Jennifer. Ryan was a short-tempered guy who got fired for breaking the nose of his manager. Frank gets the person to give him the details of this Ryan guy. Jennifer tries to search for something on the internet, but finds out that the router is just for show and the wire has been cut from behind. She then rushes out trying to find the service till she sees her phone battery has been burnt in the back. As Ryan comes back, realizing his wallet isn't there, Jennifer tries to run away. She stumbles where Ryan was digging the other day and a hand comes out of the mud, clarifying all her doubts were true. However, she gets smacked in the head with a rock by Ryan, who then carries her to the bedroom, pretending that she stumbled and had a brutal fall. Well, Ryan needs to know that the same luck doesn't work every time. Jennifer knows what happened and knows what she discovered and confronts who he is, but Ryan gets mad. He chains her injured foot to the foot of the bed and leaves the room, telling her to rest. Since he forced medicine down her throat, Jennifer dozes off for a while. Ryan is out when Nurse Masters comes across him. Seeing him denying contact with her, she tries calling Frank, making him rush away. Jennifer is one strong lady to pull her already broken foot out of the chains and then roll and limp down to get to the kitchen and tape her foot in structure. Going into the garage, she enters the car, but before she can find the keys, Ryan is back. She hides in the back of the car while Ryan enters the garage. He opens the boot of this car, where another body lies, clearly of Russell. He then goes out, making Jennifer sneak out and get ahead of him with her broken foot to finally reach the bed before him. She has her foot covered with a sheet to not expose that she freed herself. Ryan talks to her and is about to check on her foot when the doorbell rings. Frank is downstairs, but Ryan refuses to open the door. Jennifer once again rushes down and sneaks through the kitchen to get Frank's attention to come to the back door. By the time she reaches to open it, Ryan has come from behind and knocked Frank out. The chase between Ryan and Jennifer isn't long, and he pulls away the tape and messes her foot even more to torture her. He then takes her back to the bedroom and puts Frank in an abandoned deep freezer in the garage. Bringing a rope, he ties her up, telling her that he loved her, observed her, and got to know her all this while. But then Russell took her away. He was going to kill her just like Ryan and her family, but then fate gave him a chance to create a perfect life for them, which Jennifer again ruined. He tries to kiss her, but she bites him, making him mad, so he goes out. In the meantime, she tries to get the lighter from the table to burn the rope, but Ryan comes back. She distracts him, telling him she thought about it and didn't know that he loved her this much. She expresses willingness to give him a chance, fooling the psycho lover. He asks if she needs something, making her ask for something to drink. By the time he brings it, Jennifer manages to grab the lighter, burn the rope, and hide. She hits him with a vase on the head and locks him in the room before running away. She is limping while Ryan breaks the door minutes after being locked. On the other hand, Frank has woken up and gotten out of the freezer too. Out in the woods, Ryan follows Jennifer while Frank tries to find them. She tries to get away from him, but he manages to hit her and pin her down on the road with a gun pointing at her. He is about to shoot her when Frank stops him. The two of them get into a fight with Ryan having an upper hand. This makes Jennifer pick up the gun and shoot Ryan multiple times to ensure he is dead. Frank and Jennifer are finally safe. 3 months later, Frank has gotten his closure to retire and have an easy life now, while Jennifer is returning to her hometown. Frank hands her a note that her boss gave, which Russell wrote to her. In the letter, Russell told her that every moment he spent with her was the happiest ever, giving her closure and a happy memory to move on with.